Tez with the Yoga Den. I'm here today to do a video about inversions, and this is going to be an introduction to inversions video, kind of geared towards beginner to maybe intermediate. If you're working on your one-arm handstand, you probably want to watch a different video. I am going to show a little bit of handstand prep on the wall, just to kind of show where I am with my practice. But we're going to go through legs up the wall, shoulder stand, a headstand, and a little bit of practice of handstand on the wall. So why would you want to do an inversion? Well, a lot of times we do inversions towards the end of our practice. They help to create something called Udana Vayu in the headspace, which helps to prepare us for meditation. So that's one reason we do this towards the end of our practice. They also help to calm the nervous system and bring fresh oxygen into all the vital organs, including the brain. So there's some benefits there. They're also fun and challenging to work with and kind of bring some fun into your practice. Some reasons you might not want to do an inversion. If you have heart disease or what am I trying to say? If you have heart disease, esophageal reflux, heartburn, or any type of condition that would require you to not elevate your heart above your head, you want to avoid an inversion. Hiatal hernia, I hope I got them all. The other reason you might not want to do an inversion is if you are a woman who's pregnant and expecting a baby, or if you are menstruating. Some people still do it anyway, but I recommend against it. I think that time is a time to focus on different types of energy flows in your body, and that inversions don't work well with. So I advise avoiding inversions during that time. And if you're in a yoga class where everyone's doing an inversion and you're not able to do one or not wanting to do one, another option is to take child's pose or downward facing dog, or you can come into reclined butterfly pose or any type of resting posture. Just make that time your own. Take some time to reflect and prepare for meditation. So let's go ahead and get started. I wanted to start with legs up the wall pose, and I'll start by demonstrating the restorative version of this pose. So I'm going to be using a bolster. You know, this is a really nice bolster that I bought online, but if you don't have one, you could use a couch cushion or a pillow, folded up blankets, and then you can also bring a folded blanket underneath the shoulders. And so to get onto the wall, you can sort of perch on the edge of the bolster and then swivel the legs up the wall, trying to keep the butt as close to the wall as you can, and coming back. If you need to make adjustments to the blanket, you can adjust to the curvature of your neck. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. Point the soles of the feet up towards the ceiling, and just allow gravity to take its course. Back at the studio, it's really nice if you have the opportunity to have someone place a sandbag on the tops of your feet, on the soles of your feet, I guess, actually is what I mean to say. And you can just stay here as long as you like. You'll start to feel the effects of gravity on the circulation system. This is really good for sciatica, calming the mind, and actually sometimes some people prefer to use this for their final relaxation pose instead of going into Shavasana. So it's an alternative for your final relaxation pose as well. Okay, and then to come out of this, you curl the knees in towards the chest, gently roll off the bolster, and just come into a fetal position for a little while. Just taking a moment here, and then you'll take your top hand, press it into the floor in front of you, and gently, carefully, slowly come back into a seated position. So another option, say you're working on a yoga flow practice, you're not anywhere close to a wall, but you still want to bring legs up the wall into your practice, so you don't have a wall handy. This is another option. If you have a block, you can use a block. I'm going to use a blanket. If you don't have anything like that, you can also bring the hands behind the small of the back, underneath the body. So you have the a blanket or a block or something to just support the lower back, and then you can bring the arms away from the body into cactus arms, and then just point the soles of the feet straight up towards the ceiling. So that's legs up the wall with a prop if you don't have an actual wall handy. Or if you don't have time, you know, you're trying to just work it into your practice but don't want to stop and go find a wall in between poses. So we'll go ahead and curl the knees back in to the chest, lower the feet, and come onto the side of the body, just resting for a moment. Then use the top hand to gently press yourself up into a seated position. So the next thing I want to show you is shoulder stand. I always refer to this as shoulder stand, but in some of my yoga textbooks, it's actually referred to as half shoulder stand. And you'll see what I mean. You have sort of, in half shoulder stand, your body sort of makes like a greater than or less than shape. So I don't have a lot of room here to demo it. I'm gonna do it from this direction, and then I'll show another angle. But for shoulder stand, or half shoulder stand rather, you'll start in Shavasana and then bring the arms alongside the body. We'll glue the inside edges of the feet together and start to bring the legs over the head, building up some momentum here. And then when you get ready, you're going to shoot the toes straight up to the ceiling and bring the hands to the small of the back, spreading the hands apart like you're opening up the pages of a book, pointing the toes, taking the gaze straight at the toes, engaging the core, engaging the thighs. To come out of this, you can curl the knees in towards the chest, lower the spine one vertebra at a time, down to the mat, and then lower the legs inch by inch, down to the mat. Okay, so from the side angle, I'm probably gonna have to use the wall to kind of kick up here a little bit. So this is half shoulder stand from the side. And you might have your hips here, feet over the head. Modify as needed. And then you can always bring the legs back over the head coming into plow pose, or a modification of that. If your feet touch the ground behind you, you reached plow pose. If not, you can bend the knees, bring them around the ears, flex the feet and point the soles of the feet back up towards the ceiling, pointing the toes, coming back into shoulder stand. There's also different things you can do here. You can lower one leg at a time. You can practice coming into wide leg pose. You can practice upside down tree or lotus. All right, so then let's come out of that. So that's half shoulder stand. or a shoulder stand without any props. Another way you can work on shoulder stand is at the wall. And for this, you'll need a stack of blankets to help support the neck and the shoulders. So I have a stack of 3 blankets. You want to adjust your stack based on how long your neck is. So some people might just need 2 blankets. And you're gonna fold the blankets like this. Let me just kind of unfold it to show you how this was done. You're gonna fold your blanket in half, matching up the fringe sides, and then fold it like this, and then fold it like this. Okay? So that will give you a nice wide base of support into this. And then this edge here should line up so that the shoulders are coming right to this edge. And then your neck and head are going to be coming off the edge over here. So to line up for that, you'll kind of measure where your shoulders are when you're in legs up the wall pose. So right here. Okay, so that's where that top edge of the blanket's going to need to be. I'm going to try it like that. And you can place a block here, or I guess a block would be good if you need some support for the hips as well. I'm just going to do it without one. So you come up to the side of the wall, swivel the legs up onto the wall. Make any adjustments that you need here. So yeah, the shoulders are coming close to the edge of the blanket. The neck is supported by that slope of the blankets, and the head's on the floor. Okay, so from here, I'm going to plant the feet into the wall and start to lift the hips. See, I'm going to need to make some adjustments here. Okay, start to lift the hips, walking the feet up the wall. Okay, and you're going to bring the hands to the lower spine, and then start to bring the hips over the shoulders, pointing the toes. So you might notice here the hips are stacked directly over the shoulders. So it's a deeper version of shoulder stand. Engaging the abdomen, engaging the thighs, and keeping the gaze straight on the toes. Do not want to take your gaze from side to side here. Trust me, it can hurt you. So then let's bring the knees towards the chest. Okay, and then we'll start to walk it back down. All right, so that's shoulder stand up, getting into shoulder stand on the wall, using the blankets as a support. Okay, so the next thing I want to show is headstand. So with headstand, you can also just work on prepping for headstand, and it really helps to strengthen the shoulder girdle. So for that, we'll just come into like a modified dolphin pose. So we're gonna do a couple of measurements here. So first of all, we'll take opposite hands to opposite elbows. So this is how far away your elbows should be when you come into headstand. Another measurement, we're gonna take the lower part of the hand, the heel of the hand, and place it along the eyebrow line, in between the 2 eyebrows, and then we'll place the middle finger right here where it lands naturally, and where the tip of the middle finger lands is the place on your head that you're going to try to make contact with the ground. So only this place on your head should be contacting the ground. We're really trying to avoid putting any pressure on the neck. All of the work is going to be in the shoulders and the forearms here. Really pressing through the forearms, really engaging the shoulders. If you start to feel pressure on the neck, then you need to just come into a modified dolphin pose or something like that. You can also use blocks underneath the forearms. So I guess another measurement we can do is if we interlace the fingers like this, keeping the thumbs loose, and then bring the hands behind the head. If the top of the arms is even with the top of the head, then you should be good to go without the props. If they're coming down a lot lower, you might want to consider bringing blocks underneath the forearms when you come into your headstand to avoid placing too much pressure on the neck. Okay, I think I covered all of that. So we'll come into the hands and the knees, bringing the wrist under the shoulders and the knees under the hips. So the wrists are right under the shoulders. We're going to bring the elbows down where the wrists are. And you can double check that measurement that I was just showing you, bringing opposite hands to opposite elbows. And then we're going to interlace the fingers, making a little basket, keeping the thumbs loose. So this is going to be the basket for the back of our head. And then checking that place on the top of the head again, we're going to bring that spot down to the mat. You walk the knees in a little bit. And then we're going to press down through the forearms from the elbows to the wrist, engaging the shoulders. Okay? And then we'll curl the toes. Inhale, lift the hips. And on the exhale, start to walk the toes closer to the body, bringing the hips over the shoulders, pressing through the forearms, engaging the shoulders. And then whenever you're ready, maybe lift up into headstand. Engaging the shoulders, pressing through the forearms. You can use the wall for support. Maybe try bringing one foot away. Nice strong core, strong legs. Ooh. And when you're ready, you can come down into child's pose, resting the neck, relaxing the shoulders. Might take the head to one side. Take it easy here. Okay, so that was headstand on the wall. Once you've kind of got the hang of doing this on the wall, you want to try to do it in the middle of the room and face your fears, maybe with a spotter handy. If you try doing this in the middle of the room, a couple of tips. If you're going to fall, try to fall down the way I did coming into child's pose. If you do go a little too far over the edge, try to land on your feet in wheel pose. So you may even try warming up with a little bit, with some back bends and maybe wheel pose in case that happens, so you'll be warmed up and ready for it. Okay, so now I'm going to show what I've been working on with handstand prep. I've been doing the L shape on the wall and a couple of other exercises to try to strengthen up, but I'm just going to kind of show the L shape thing right now. So to measure for the L shape, you'll sit with your back against the wall, and wherever your heels land is where you're going to want to put your hands, because we're going to have the legs stretched out all the way into this L shape. So you'll bring your hands to that point. The wrists are going to be underneath the shoulders, and the fingers spread nice and wide. Engaging the shoulders, and we'll start to walk the feet up the wall, bringing the heels even with the hips, relaxing the head down, engaging the shoulders. You can work with this, engaging the bandhas, drawing the belly button in towards the core, engaging the muscles of the pelvic floor. Maybe reaching one foot up, pointing the toe. You're pressing away from the wall. Try it with the other leg. And then whenever you're ready, coming back down and coming into child's pose. So those are a few examples of inversions. Let's see, there's one more I wanted to show. It's the tripod headstand. So for tripod, you are going to have your hands and that top part of your head in contact with the mat. And we're going to make chaturanga arms, if you're familiar with the term. So, you know, when you come down into your chaturanga, you start in high plank. I can't do it here. Let me try the modified version. We'll start in plank. Inhale, lean forward. Exhale, bend the arms at 90 degrees. Those are your chaturanga arms. So we're going to have the arms bent at that 90-degree angle. Elbows bent at 90 degrees. Bring that spot on the top of your head to the mat. Engage the shoulders. Then curl in the toes and start to lift the hips. And you'll bring one shin on top of the tricep. And then see about bringing the other shin on top of the other tricep. Engaging the core, engaging the bandhas. And if you start to feel like you've got this, you can start to lift the shins up off of the triceps. And then again, coming into child's pose to rest when you get out of it. Really relaxing the neck. You might want to do some neck rolls and shoulder rolls once you're done. And just don't overdo it. Don't wake up first thing in the morning and decide to do a headstand. You want to be sure you've warmed up first. So let me go ahead and play the bell to close this out. This is the crown chakra bell, so that's a good one for inversions actually. The crown chakra, can we have some quiet please in the studio? The crown chakra is for expansiveness, gentleness, calmness, harmony, and the goal is to experience oneness with the eternal now. So. Let's bring the arms up overhead, bringing the hands together. On the exhale, taking the hands to the forehead for a thought well thought. Bringing the hands to the mouth for a word well spoken. Bringing the hands to the heart for a deed well done. The light within me salutes the light within you. Namaste. Thanks everybody. Have a good day.